Hello again, Anson Garcia with Verizon, and we are on part 6. So this is an exciting part where we are going to learn about sharing stuff like files and whiteboards and screenshots and things like that. And really what I like about Webex Teams now, not Spark anymore, and I'm sorry if I use that name interchangeably. Sometimes in my brain I'm thinking Spark, and I'm going to try my best to call out the name Webex Teams, but I might make a mistake or two. But what I really like about the sharing files as opposed to in this platform as opposed to the old Jabber way is in Jabber you could, share files and things like that. But if you wanted to go back and if someone sent you a file yesterday or last week, you had to go dig in your downloads. So there was a little directory on your Windows or Mac desktop where you could go in and look at files. Now, the kind of bummer thing is you couldn't search for those files. Remember all this persistent stuff and this new way of doing business messaging, this persistent chat stuff. You can search for things and you can search for files. And I'll tell you or I'll show you some other neat tricks where you can actually get the context of what was going on when that file was uploaded. So I hope you stay with me and let's get started. Okay, let me show you around a bit so you don't get confused what we're doing here. I have several desktops that you're going to be seeing as in the other videos. And this one we're using some different desktops because of the way files work, and I've been working on some other videos as well that you're going to see upcoming, and it was really the virtual machines weren't doing too well in that environment. So you'll see me change around. I try to make them look as best as possible as the old virtual desktops, but these are real desktops, and I'm just remote desktoped in, if you guys know what that means. But over here on the left, you can see if I click on this one, this is Anson Garcia, and this is kind of within the company. So this is an Anson Garcia within the company, let's call it. And then we have Jessica Kasdan right here, and you can kind of, what I try to do is the blue background is a guy and the rose colored background is the gal. So as I kind of flip around, you kind of know what desktop I'm going to based on the background. So, and then I have this other desktop too. This is another Anson Garcia, but it's not part of the company. It's a different email address, a different user. And this user, I'm going to show you a few things that are in the web client. So this dark blue background. So again, we have Anson Garcia with the light blue background that's within company. Let's call it ABC Company. We have Jessica Kasdan with the rose color background. She's within the company as well. And then we have this outside guy. Just so happens I named him Anson also, but he is a different user that's outside the company, not part of the tenant and the Webex Teams tenant, and he's also just using a web client. Okay, so we want to talk about files and how to share files first. So let's say as part of this conversation, or let's imagine as part of my reply inside this team space, that I think there's a particular file that would be useful. Now all I need to do is kind of click right here on my little paper clip. That's pretty self-explanatory. Let me go to my desktop. I do have a file here that I want to show, and it's right here, this project demo X. All right, so let's go ahead and upload that project demo X right in there. And now I have the ability to write a message in and along with this file. So I can put in here, let's say, take a look at this and see if updated. Okay, we'll do something like that. And then all I have to do is push enter here, and that's going to enter that meeting space and with my comments along with it. So in a few minutes you'll get a viewer, what we call a viewer of this particular file. So or a little snippet like a thumbnail of this file. One of the things that I love about Cisco Webex Teams is it has a built-in viewer, and there's all kind of common files that it supports, like PowerPoint, Word documents, JPEGs, all kind of things. So in other words, Excel, you don't have to have the particular application. So for example, if you were on an iPad and wanted to view this particular file, it's a presentation, and maybe you didn't have Office Suite on your iPad, you can still view that file. So these business applications, business messaging applications, particularly Webex Teams, has a viewer built right into the client itself. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Let's go over to, we have, as part of the Anson Lab demo team, we have a space called 3-member space, and I'm going to go over, it just so happens we have Jessica as part of that. I'll show you right here. We'll poke around there. We can see that's me right there. We have Jessica part of this space as well. And then we have this outside guy, Anson Garcia. Remember, that's signified by that yellow text right there, and it tells you right there, which is nice. People outside your company are included in this space. So let's go over to Jessica and see what she sees. We'll go into, I see that indicator or something's going on in that team, and I'm going to go to this team right here, and there it is. And you can see I get a little thumbnail of it. And even though if Jessica did not have PowerPoint, which she does, I think this laptop does have PowerPoint, but even if she didn't, she would be able to click right there, and that would come up. Not only can she click there, but if there's some small text or something like that, she can go ahead and zoom in. You see there, right, this button right here. And then we have two places we can get a thumbnail of each page. So that's kind of nice. So the PowerPoint presentation, we can see each slide over here and go to exactly the particular slide that we're wanting to see, or we can page right here as well. Okay, and now we'll go ahead and close that. All right, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to write some text in here just to get some things. You'll see what I'm doing here in just a second. And then I'll go, I'm just going to put a bunch of text in here. What I'm trying to do is kind of get that file off the screen. I'll go to this outside guy as well. He sees that he's got something there. I get an indicator even on my web browser, which is neat. And I'll put some text in there. Okay, and let's say there was a conversation all around this particular file. And what happened was, let's say Jessica wanted to see this file now, and she didn't know where the file was. So she saw people talking about the file, so all she needed to do is go to the files. Now she's going to see that particular file, the last file, and these are in chronological order, the newest on top. But one of the things that really neat you can do, so she wants to get context. What was going on when people uploaded this file, where this file was uploaded? She's supposed to look at it. What is it for? So she can go right, see this little icon right here, that little balloon. She can click right on that, and that's going to take her right to the particular file when it was uploaded, and then she can go ahead and take a look at what conversations were going on as part of that file, and also what Anson said as part of that file when he uploaded that file. So this really clues you into the context of that particular file, what was going on. So let's move on to editing a file. So how is that done inside Webex Teams, and what happens? Do I have to change version numbers and upload different documents to make sure I can keep versioning control? Let's take a look at that. So Jessica says, okay, I'm going to take a look at this, and maybe I need to make some edits to, let's say, slide number 3. Okay, so she's running along here, taking a look at this, taking a look at slide number 3. She has maybe some edits that she needs to do on that particular slide, so she can download it right here as part of that. Or if she already knows that she needed to make some edits, she can also go to the files. Remember, she was over here and went to files and went to the context of that file to see what was going on. She can also download that right here. So let's go ahead and download that. And what's really neat about this is right away you see this little folder over here on the left. And what that does, I don't have to, remember I was talking about Jabber, and when you download files you had to go hunt for them if you had closed the application. Now you have this little folder, and I can just open that folder right there, and it's going to take me right to where that document was downloaded at. So I can just upload that, or excuse me, click on that document, and let's make some edits to page 3 here. And let's just say, we'll call it page 3, and we'll put a couple of items in here. Item 1, item 2, and item 3. Okay, now all I'm going to do is, I know that my little disk right there is going to save that file, so I'm just going to save that file. And I'm going to do things a little bit differently. So Jessica works a little bit differently. She likes copy and paste, and things like that. So I can copy from here, and I can just paste right here. Okay, if I wanted to paste that file. So that's a little more normal to me. Windows-like, maybe Apple-like too. But that makes sense to me to go, copy something and paste it in here. Or I can go ahead and let's delete that. And you see how I just pushed that X there and got rid of that. Or what about if I just wanted to, come and put this over here? I can do that as well. So I just dropped it in there. Did you see that? And then it came down here. Now I can go ahead and put some text around this. So let's say I updated slide 3. Take a look. Okay, and I'm going to hit enter. Now, no sleight of hand here, but what I just did, I uploaded the file. Notice I did not update the file name. Right, so now what happened? Did the old file get updated? Maybe Anson doesn't like what happened, what Jessica wants, and wants to go with the original file. So is all is lost with him now? No. What's really neat about what Webex Teams does is it'll keep some metadata on the particular file. So it knows that Anson uploaded the file and now Jessica uploaded the file. Yes, they have the same name, but there's some metadata that's uploaded that is different and distinguishes those files between each other. Take a look. Let's just pick on Anson for a while. Let's go back to our activity menu here. Let's go to files, and we'll see now there's 2 files. Now this is the latest file right here. Okay, so let's take a look. We'll just use the viewer here, and we'll go look at page 3, right over here. And we can see that's updated. Right? Now if we were on the first file, which is up in the messaging, or right here, right? Look, same names. If you look there, same names. See, Project X Demo, Project X Demo. I can look at this one. This is the first file. If we go look at page 3 or slide number 3, you can see that it's the original page 3 with no edits. Okay, so that's really neat where you can just upload files. You don't have to worry about your versioning or anything like that. Basically, the versioning is happening automatic, and the versioning is the newer versions are going to be on top. So let's talk about deleting files. Maybe this Jessica's file now is the standard file, and we're just going to stay with that one. Everyone's going to edit that one, or we like the way that is formatted, and we like slide number 3. Maybe Anson wants to go in and say, you know what, just to kind of clean things up, I don't want anybody seeing this other file. I had a bunch of mistakes in it, so I'm going to just go ahead and delete that file. How would I do that? So remember, the newest ones are on top. So that's Jessica, that's edit number 3. Remember that. And we can always go back if we're not in this window. Remember, we can just highlight this one and then go right to that section, take us right there. Okay, so we know we don't want this one. So how do we delete this one? I can go right to the message. Remember, this is the one I uploaded. I can go there, and if I hover right over here, you can see that X. You see that X right there? You see right over here on the right hand side, I have the flag. I also have this X. So maybe I want to delete that file to kind of clean up our space. So I can go ahead and delete that file. Now you have to be the owner or the moderator of this particular space. Remember, the moderators are, you can look at those moderators right here. When you go to people, you can see who the moderator is. In fact, it doesn't say the moderator is there, so maybe it is over here. There we go. You have to be the moderator of this team, I should say. All right. That's how you delete a file. So let's go back to Jessica's desktop and let's do a screenshot. So maybe she wants to take a screenshot of her Outlook here. So I'm going to bring up Outlook just like so. I'm going to bring up Webex Teams there, and I'm going to click this button right there. You see that button? I'm going to click that. You see how Webex Teams just goes back in the background. It knows I want to do some kind of screenshot. So I'm just going to take a screenshot of this right here. Let's do that. And you see it's pasted right in there. And I can say, take a look at my calendar. Okay, we'll do something like that. Okay, now let's go back to Anson. I'll show you another neat feature here. We're going to go back all the way down here. We're going to take a look at this, and we can go ahead and zoom in and zoom out here also. We can download, if we wanted to download that particular screenshot. You see that? And now we have this little folder too right here. So anytime you download something, right after the download, you're going to see a folder, and that folder is going to take you right to that particular file. We can also do is, let's say we need to come back and take a look at that file later on, or this screenshot rather. I can go ahead and just hover over that screenshot, and I can click this flag right there. You see that now? That flag is done, is highlighted, and then later on throughout the day, or maybe I have time from 3 to 5 to come back and follow up on items that I need to tidy up for the day before I leave. I can go ahead and go over here, and I can go to my flags. And that's going to show me anything I flagged throughout the day. So maybe I flagged some things throughout the day while I'm busy and I'm on my meetings and things, and I need to go back and make sure that I get back with these folks with something. So looks like Jessica here wanted me to take a look at something, and I can just click on that. That's going to take me right to that particular place, and then I can take a look at that particular screenshot, and I can comment on it and things like that. Maybe get back to her directly, or update the team on what I think about that screenshot. Okay, what I want to show you next is some annotations when sharing in a meeting. Now, this is not so much has to do with meetings, but it's still sharing content and files and things like that. Now, this is more of a posted file, so to speak, but let me show you what I'm talking about. Let's go back in. We'll go to our meetings menu. We'll go to the Anson demo team, and we'll go into the 3-member space. And let's go ahead and start a meeting in here. Now, we went through meetings already, so you guys should already know how to do this. So I'm going to go over here and just start an ad hoc meeting with this team. That's going to make a call out to everyone that's part of this team. I should say it's going to make a call out to everyone that's part of this space under this team. Sorry for that. Now, what it does, it senses a screen on my wall here, so I'm just going to say my computer, and that's for another video there. And we're going to start with video here. Okay, and we'll go over to Jessica. We'll go ahead and join her too. See, she gets this thing, little toast, pop-up toast over here, or she can join over here. So we'll go ahead and join there. We'll join with video as well. We'll go over to Anson. That's outside our company. He's getting some join messaging too. some pop-up toast, and we'll just ignore that. Okay, let's go back over and let's see. Let's go to Jessica real quick. I'm going to go ahead and mute these just so we don't get any feedback here. Let's go over to Jessica, and what Jessica's going to do is she's going to share something. Let's share her Outlook, all right? Maybe we have some file or something, and we want to show somebody something. Okay, and you guys are familiar with this already. Okay, there we go, and you can see it sharing in the background. I'm going to click this background, and it says right up here, I'm sharing Outlook. Now, what is this little squiggly line here? That's interesting. So what we can do is I can click that little squiggly line right there. And what I get is it's kind of like a screen capture, kind of like an automatic screen capture. Let me move this video out of the way over here. And with this automatic screen capture, I get some colors down here, and I get an eraser. You see that? This is almost looks like a sparkboard or a whiteboard, but with an automatic background that's been pasted on here. And what's been pasted on there was that screenshot of what I was sharing a second ago. So as soon as I click that squiggly line up here, that annotate button, it's going to take a screenshot, put it in Webex Teams, and then allow me to annotate it. Okay, so what I can do here, let's choose red, and say we're trying to point to someone to some, button there or something. Let's go to green, and how about we circle that right there. Other people are seeing this annotation, so I can really call out things instead of using my mouse. I can click that, get a screenshot, and then everyone else is going to see that. Let's go look at what Anson sees. You see, he sees that, and he can pull this up full screen if he wants. I'll leave it I'll pull it up a little bit bigger. Okay, so he sees this stuff as it's going on, as it's being annotated by Jessica. Now get this, if he clicks on that, he can pull it up full screen. Let's do that. And he gets a squiggly line himself. So let's go and let's do some annotating ourselves. And here we go. You see, we get some annotation colors as well. And let's say we're going to use blue. And we're going to highlight something like maybe right here. Okay, now let's go back over to Jessica, and guess what? She sees that annotation as well. So that's collaborative kind of annotating at the same time, just like what you can do in a sparkboard, you can do on a desktop using your annotate button and capturing your screen, and then sharing that. As soon as you annotate, it's going to share that screen capture, and then everyone in the meeting is able to use the annotation tools to highlight and put arrows and checks or whatever you want to do for that particular screenshot. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click done here. Okay, and we stop sharing this. I'm going to click OK here. And let's go ahead and get out of this meeting. All right, so Jessica now's out of the meeting. Anson is still in there, and let's say he's going to click done as well, and he's going to get out of the meeting also. Okay, so now what happened to that annotation session? We would want to capture that. We would want to save that, right? Well, the great thing is that we'll be able to bring that back up, that annotation session, by going right here, and anyone can do it. I'll just do it on Anson's. Going to Files, and guess what? There's that snapshot. If we take a look at that snapshot, if I bring that snapshot up, we're going to see all of our annotation. As you can see there, it just popped up. Okay, so really neat, and I can continue to annotate that if I wanted to, and I can download that as well. So I can annotate it on my own if I'd like to, but it's just great that you can annotate things, share things, and they're automatically saved inside the Files activity menu right here, so you can go back and revisit and see, what kind of whiteboard session were you having, or what type of, someone was sharing a screen and annotating some stuff, or collaborative annotating and things like that were going on. You can go right back to that. Okay, what I want to show you next is whiteboards. Now, this is pretty self-explanatory. we can see there's some whiteboards here, and I can take a look at those whiteboards. So here's a whiteboard that's been there before, but maybe I want a new whiteboard. So let me click on this little new button right here. I'm going to let that whiteboard start up, and I'm going to, now I'm on a desktop, and I'm doing that on purpose, but I'm just going to, let's say I'm just going to write my name. Of course, I'm not very good with a mouse with my name here. Okay, and you can see that, you know, I'm just not real good with my mouse. Okay, so let me just post that. Okay, so that's now in our whiteboard sessions over here. So remember, I went over here, and we can go to files. That's where all my files, my screen capture, my annotation sessions, as far as when I share something and annotate it in a call. But I can also go to my whiteboards, and I can see all my whiteboards. And you can see I just created a new one right here. And let me get out of this. So let me kind of close this one. Go back to our space here, and then I'll show you how to get back in there. Show you what that looks like. There's my whiteboards, and then there's the whiteboard we just created, right? And so I'm going to let that come up, but I want to show you something really neat here. So I'm going to go back out. Okay, let's bring up Teams. This is my iPad, and I'm going to bring up Teams here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that three-member space. I'm going to go to my activity menu right there, the three ellipses. And I'm going to go to whiteboards. I'm going to bring up that last whiteboard. And look how terrible I wrote my name. But I have in my hand an Apple Pencil, and I'm on my iPad. So I'm just going to erase that, just like so. And it just works wonderfully on the iPad. Let's choose red, and then of course I can use my great penmanship here to write my name much better than before, right, with my mouse. So now I can do whiteboarding, and maybe I have a little network over here, and maybe a little laptop over here. That's my attempt to, or a laptop. That's not very good. But maybe I have a router over here. We're in the service provider business, and we like to draw routers and LANs and things like that. So there's my little LAN. And then we have a cloud service, and let's call it Cisco Webex Teams Cloud Collaboration, something like that. Anyway, you can see there that I can very easily switch to my iPad if I wanted to do some whiteboarding, and then I get the use of my Apple Pen or some capacitive touch pen, doesn't matter. If it's an Apple Pen, I tend to like Apple Pens. And then also right up here, you can see that I can go ahead and bring this up full screen if I wanted to. Gives me a lot more real estate, and then I can go ahead and, you know, I can go ahead and do all kind of things now because I have full real estate of my see there? This pen combination with this Webex Teams is just a phenomenal. It's great. I love to whiteboard and sketch out things and get concepts and things across. And you can do that too with Webex Teams. Let me show you another neat thing about files. So I'm going to go to a team. Let's just go to this team. I don't know. I'm going to go in any team. But in this team right here, I'm going to click right over here on my search button. And remember the file that we uploaded earlier was named Project X. So it was speaking about Project X, let's say. And I want to find everything related to Project X. So let's say Project X here. And I don't find any people or spaces related to Project X. If I did name a space, I'd find it here. But see here, show messages and files. What I'm going to do is look at messages or files that have the search term Project X. And I click that, and you can see immediately that in the 3-member space where we were before and where we uploaded those files, that presentation, I have 2 files there. Remember, they're the same name, but one is newer than the other, and the top one is going to be newer than any other files of the same name. And all I have to do is click on that, and it's going to take me directly to that team space and directly to that file as well. So there's the file there, and then I can take a look at that file. And so that's great. So you can search for particular things, and as I understand, even inside files, which is coming soon, you'll be able to search for terms and text that are inside a file. So that's it for today. I hope this has been informative, and thank you for watching.